And by the way, my name's Brandon Bays, and I'm author of the book, The Journey. Welcome with all my heart. And one of the things that moved me about all of it is that there's so many lovers of truth who have committed their lives to serving life and to awakening to who you really are and to clearing out whatever might obscure you from living as an expression of your true greatness, from living from the freedom that is your own essence. And so I was so moved. It was like connecting hearts with brothers and sisters around the world. And I was also touched that so many people wanted to hear about how cell memory actually impacts our physical health and well-being. And so I know many of you are already doing the journey, which allows you to go on a journey inside your body and uncover actual cell memories stored in different parts of the body and go through a process of release and letting go and forgiveness and healing so the body and the being can heal. And so you're already on the journey. And yet the vast majority of us haven't had a chance to do a journey, haven't been to a journey intensive or any of the other events, and haven't maybe even read the book, The Journey. And so I'd like to start by just catching you up a little where it all sprang from and what took place for me, and also have a guided meditation that we can go into. And of course, I would have loved to have been able to sort of do a crash course and fit the whole journey intensive into an hour-and-a-half seminar that I was giving, but it's not possible. But I would like to tonight, if possible, not only to give you a guided meditation, but also to perhaps we can go on a little journey of investigation to perhaps uncover cell memories and understand how it is scientifically and emotionally, spiritually, how cell memory actually impacts our physical well-being and our emotional well-being. And it all started with me about 18 years ago. It's amazing to think it's happened that far long ago. And I was in my 39th year. And of course, that dates me now. I have to tell you, I'm 57 years old. And at that time, I had been in the personal growth and mind-body healing field in complementary medicine for about 18 years. And I was living, breathing, walking my talk in that area. And I've been certified in so many different areas. And of course, had taken hundreds of seminars, probably like many of you. I was definitely on a path. And I have a feeling you're watching this because you've been on a path. You've had a knowing that there's an essential greatness that you've longed to tap into, a potential inside yourself that you've longed to somehow access. And it puts you on a path to want to clear out anything that would obscure you, for it to hold you back from accessing that greatness. You've had a knowing there's more to life than just this that meets the eye. And I had that same thirst, that same prayer as you. And so here I was. I'd moved from New York City to Malibu, California, and I'd gone to, at that point, hundreds of seminars. And not only that, I was living, breathing, doing everything that I believed in eating organic, vibrant vegetarian food, working out every day, meditating every day. And, you know, more important than the physical things, I felt very at home with myself in life. I'd done a lot of work on myself, and I'd cleared a lot of issues, and I felt really fulfilled. I was in a marriage for those 18 years that I felt deeply fulfilled in, and 2 beautiful children, and I did work that I felt was really my life's calling, serving life, and in healing, and in the field of health. And so the last thing I ever expected to have happen was actually to be diagnosed with a basketball-sized tumor. And it really sent me reeling. And it catapulted me on a profound healing journey. And part of the gift of that healing journey was I uncovered a means for all of us, everyone, to go on a very direct, personal journey inside yourself, to uncover old repressed patterns, old cell memories, old dead consciousness that's been operating at a subterranean level, that's been influencing your life, and to go through a process of letting go, and ultimately healing. And 6.5 weeks after I did this process, I was pronounced textbook perfect clean, completely tumor-free. And what happened for me, you can imagine what it was like. Here I was doing what I thought was everything right. And to make this deeply spiritual journey, a very short encapsulated one, so I can kind of bring you onto the page of what happened, I ended up with my stomach growing and ended up going to a surgeon who practiced integrative medicine. And at the end of all the scans and everything, she told me that I was equivalent to 5.5 months pregnant with a tumor that was the size of a basketball. And it sent me reeling. And I said to her, because she said to me, Brandon, it's so far advanced. You need to get into hospital today to have the test done to find out, is this malignant? Is this benign? But the truth is, it's not going to matter. It's crushing the rest of your organs, and you need to go in hospital today. And as soon as we can schedule you in, you're going to need to have this tumor removed. And I said, listen, I'm in the field of mind body healing and complementary medicine. Can you give me some time? And she said, Brandon, look at all these textbooks. There's not a single case study of a woman who's been diagnosed with a tumor as large as yours, who successfully healed yourself. So even though I would be the first one to prescribe a more complementary route, you need to get real. You're going to have to get the test done and then have this thing removed. And I said, can you give me some time? And after 45 minutes, she agreed to give me a month's time. And I got to tell you something, you would probably think, me being in the field, I would have taken news like that with some sort of calm. But the truth was, my heart was pounding through the roof. My mind was going 1,000,000 miles a minute. I was terrified. And I walked out of her offices. And as I walked out their door, there was a tree in front of me, a mimosa tree. It was a tree I hadn't even noticed going in. It had beautiful golden blossoms. And as I looked at that tree, I had one of those moments. You know how it is when time just seems to stop and become timeless? And I looked at that tree, and everything stopped. I was completely arrested by its beauty. And my racing thinking mind, which was going 1,000,000 miles a minute, it just started to calm down and to slow down. And my heart started to calm down. And out of nowhere, waves of gratitude started coming. And just the gratitude for seeing the golden blossoms on this tree, to be allowed to have the privilege to see the color yellow, and to smell the fragrance this tree was giving off, to breathe. And as I was resting in this bath of gratitude, out of nowhere came this gut knowing that somehow I would be guided to heal. And even though I didn't have a clue how that would be, I was so grateful because, at that point I was already doing everything I believed in, leading this healthy life. And yet, I felt so grateful also for the work going on in the medical field, in the field of science and cellular healing, and for the work of Dr. Deepak Chopra. Now, this is 18 years ago, and I'm 57, so let's get that out of the way. So here we are 18 years ago. And Dr. Deepak Chopra at that time was a medical doctor working as a chief surgeon general of Boston Medical Hospital. And he'd done a radical thing at that time. He decided to study the process of people who survive serious illness without drugs or surgery and wanted to find out, what did they do? How did they survive What did they undergo? And he amassed hundreds and ultimately thousands of case studies. And what he discovered is that people who had survived without drugs or surgery had two things in common. One thing was that through some act of grace or spontaneous event, they actually got access to this that he called the infinite intelligence of the body. It's the part of you that makes your heart beat, and your eyes shine, and your hair grow. It's this that's making all that is functioning in your body right in this moment function. The infinite intelligence of the body. The second thing was that through some act of grace or spontaneous event, people actually got access to this that he called the cell memory. What we know about the cells inside the body is that they all replicate at varying speeds. So for instance, if you've ever had a suntan, you'll notice that in about 3 weeks' time, the suntan fades. Or if you go to the liver, it replicates its cells in 6 weeks' time. So with the suntan, what happens is the old cells slough off, and it's replaced by the new regenerative cells. The liver cells take 6 weeks' time before all new cells replace the old. The stomach lining is only 3 days' time, and the one that consistently just blows my mind are the eye cells. Do you know, I mean, you think of the eyes, and they seem firm, don't they? But do you know that in less than 48 hours, in less than 2 days, you will have an all-new eyeball? I mean, it's impossible for the thinking mind to conceive of, and the only way I can put it into context anywhere is that some years back, my mom, she had an eye operation. They slid her eye open, inserted a lens, put the flap back, put a patch on, and only a day and a half later, they took the patch off and she could see clearly. This is a very common operation. It's because the old cells have been replaced by new ones. As a matter of fact, there won't be a single molecule in your body a year from now that's here today. But Chopra asked a question that no one else was asking at that time. He said, well, if that's true, that the body's constantly regenerating and new regenerative cells are replacing the old cells, why would it, if a liver is riddled with cancer in January, why would it be riddled with cancer in June? It's a good question to ask, isn't it? And what he postulated at that time, which has subsequently been verified by science in our day and age, is that stored inside the degenerative cell are old repressed cell memories, old emotions, dead consciousness, and before that cell dies, it passes on its programming, its consciousness, its emotions, the memory. It passes it all on to the next cell generation. So the next cell generation is then born as an exact replica of the old cell generation. And this keeps getting passed on generation to generation. And what people who were successful survivors from serious illness had in common was that through some act of grace or spontaneous event, they actually got access to that cell memory. And if somehow they released what was stored there and somehow let it go, then when the new cell was born, it was born devoid of that old consciousness. Now, I knew all this, and I'd read all the findings on cellular healing. I knew about the possibility. I'd seen the research. And one of the things that research has found, unequivocally been established, is that when you feel a strong emotion and you repress that strong emotion, and they can watch this in a lab, it releases into your bloodstream a biochemistry. This chemistry will go to certain cell receptors and block them, rendering the cells incapable of communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time the illness is going to happen, it's going to happen. where the cells are blocked. I mean, that just makes common sense. And what they also found is true, that when you feel your emotions healthily like a child does, just naturally you just allow them, our cell receptors stay open. And so I knew, even 18 years ago, I knew that part of my journey would lie in going on a journey inside myself, somehow spontaneously uncovering what was stored inside the cells in that tumor. Somehow I would need to go through a process of releasing and letting go, and hopefully somehow when the new cells were born, they would be born devoid of that old consciousness. So I knew all this, but no one had given us a method. And I can tell you something. You can know all the science on the planet. You can understand the basics of cellular healing. You can understand how cells regenerate. But unless you have a method, it is no more than a very beautiful vision of possibility and a bunch of statistics. And that's where I was. And there I was outside the door of that clinic, of the surgeon, standing there looking at the tree. And my mind came to a standstill. And out of nowhere came this gut, knowing that somehow I would be guided to heal. And even though I didn't have a clue how that would be, I trusted that somehow I would be guided. And of course I did everything I did know how to do at that time. I went on to a cleanse and 100% fresh and raw fruits and vegetables and juices. I did herbs for cleansing and homeopathics. I did colonics every other day, massages every other day, meditated, which I've been doing for over 20 years. I was doing guided visualization, NLP, I did acupuncture, I did it all. I was 3 weeks into my healing journey. And though I was looking radiant, as anyone would be from that level of cleansing and support of the body, I still had a tummy that looked 6 months pregnant. And my tummy was taut as a drum. And truthfully, I was beginning to get scared. I was terrified that in a week and a half's time, I was going to have to go back to my doctor and let her do something that didn't feel right to me at the time. And I called an oncologist friend of mine, and he said, you know what, Brandon, since you're wanting to go to the alternative route, why don't you go up to Berkeley? There's this great massage therapist up there. And I thought, okay, well, what have I got to lose? But by the time I got on her table, I had already tried everything, and nothing had worked. And I was running out of solutions. As a matter of fact, I had run out of even questions to ask. I honestly didn't know where else to turn. And I was lying on her massage table, and I had to really face the truth that everything I had tried, I was an abject failure. And it was like my whole life just came crashing in on me. And I fell into this experience of feeling myself to be a failure. And something inside of me just gave up. I didn't know where to turn anymore. I didn't know what to ask. And I just gave up. I stopped fighting. I stopped striving. I stopped reaching for answers. I stopped trying to do everything that's available on the planet. I stopped fighting the disease. I just gave up. And I surrendered. And some sort of magic happened in that surrender. There was a deep letting go. And I fell into a profound hopelessness and a realization of my absolute helplessness in the face of everything. And I let go in that. And I fell into out and out despair. And everything was just kind of black. And I even let go in that. And I ended up falling into a scintillating peace that was just omnipresent, pervading the entire room. And there was an innocence in it, a not knowing anything anymore, a not having any expertise in this field, not knowing what to ask, not knowing where to look. Just a relaxation into this peace that was saturating and bathing everything. And I was just lying there getting this massage. And at an unexpected moment, a prayer arose that somehow I would be guided to go inside that tumor and uncover whatever cell memory was there and to let it go. And when the prayer rose, I actually didn't expect an answer. I just kind of let it go. I don't know if you've ever done that, where a prayer comes up and you don't really expect any answer is going to come. And then at the most unexpected moment, I was guided. And when I got inside that tumor, I thought, it cannot be this memory. It's an old memory of childhood violence. And, you know, I've already cleared all this, I said to myself. I've already been to all the workshops. I've done so much work on myself. I've been there, done that. Gotten the t-shirt on this issue. It's so handled. I'm over it, said my egoic thinking mind. But it was almost like my mind was saying, you've got it handled. And my body and my soul were saying, maybe you don't have it handled. Maybe you haven't got it all figured out. And so I thought, well, what have I got left to lose? And so I went through a process of trying to release what was there, even though I'd already felt that I released it. And at the end of this process, I felt myself in the same place of acceptance I'd been about it all, in the same place that I'd been at for years. And I asked the peace that was still so pervasive in the room, am I complete? And the simple word, no, arose in my awareness. And again, I was just plunged into despair. And I thought, you know what? I feel like I'm guided, but I end up getting access to a memory. I don't even believe it's the right one. And even if I do get access, and it is the right one, releasing the consciousness isn't enough. And I fell into that despair again. And something inside of me just let go. And I ended up opening into a bath of stillness, of peace. And again, I was still getting a massage. This was all going on in my own world. And another prayer arose out of nowhere. Please, I don't even know if this is the right memory. But if it is, how to complete? Prayer was released. I actually didn't expect an answer. And at the most unexpected time, a single word arose in my awareness. Forgiveness. It can't be that simple. You can't just forgive and suddenly that's enough. You know, I'd already accepted what had happened to me in my life. I was a very compassionate person. And my mind was saying that. And my body and cell were saying, well, you may think you've forgiven, but you haven't really. And I thought, okay, what have I got to lose? And I started to forgive. And I opened my heart to forgive. And I was faced instead with all my own pride, my own arrogance. All my life since this had happened, I had been so noble, so compassionate, so understanding about my violent past. And I had to face down 30 years of pride in order to open my heart, to finally and really, truly forgive with all my heart. And it hurt, because I had to take myself down off my own self-made pedestal. But I did. And when I opened my heart completely and forgave wholeheartedly, it's as if, and I realized this as it was happening, it was as if I had been the one that was clinging to that tumor. That tumor had never been clinging to me. I'd been clinging to it. And in somehow letting go of the consciousness and forgiving completely, I'd finally let go. Now, when I was done, of course, my rational thinking mind that can tend to be cynical, it jumped in and it said, oh, so you forgave. What kind of difference could this make? You know, it's all you did was get access to a memory you already knew about, and this time you forgave. Well, what kind of difference could that make? And as I was standing there listening to my mind just criticizing me, I began to feel my body, and I felt disoriented. I felt like something was shifting inside. It was almost like the molecules were buzzing, but I can't say I know that that's what was happening, but that's what it felt like. And my thinking mind, which was having a heyday at criticizing me, it finally just shut up. And it focused all its energy on what was going on in my body. And I got back to the bed and breakfast I was staying at, and I lay down on the bed. And it was like so many demons came rushing, and all the other cell memories of childhood abuse came just flooding out of me. And I didn't know what to do with it. And so I didn't do anything. And I've subsequently realized that's the best thing to do. And once those cell memories had completely flooded out of me, I felt myself completely at peace. And it wasn't a week and a half later, but 3.5 weeks later, I ended up in Cedars-Sinai Hospital, where they did all the scans. And in that time, and by the way, that's how long it takes for uterine cells to heal, my tummy got flatter and flatter and flatter. And by the time I got in hospital, I was pronounced to be textbook free, completely tumor free. As a matter of fact, the doctor took out a medical textbook and she showed me a picture of a 16-year-old's uterus, and then she showed me a picture of mine, which at the age of 39 years old, inside I went, yeah! And yet, and of course I would never show that, but she said they're identical. And I was celebrating, and I said, well, that's wonderful news. And so that first experience of radical cellular healing is what, in fact, gave birth to the journey. And obviously, there's so much more to it than this. I'm just giving you a tiny encapsulated taste of what I underwent. But there's two aspects of the journey. One is awakening to your own infinite self. into that boundless presence of grace that is your own essence. It's a process of awakening. And it's from that deepest, most profound level of the soul that you turn the flashlight on inside. And you go on this journey inside yourself. And you uncover cell memories that are stored in a very specific location in your body. And you go through this process of healing, and you go through a process of letting go, and finally letting your body go about its own process of healing. And now here we are 18 years later. And the work is being used all around the world. It's been used in hospitals, and it's being used by medical doctors, in addiction centers, in schools. Currently, it's being taken into certain educational systems around the world to be used not just for cellular healing, but it's being used to clear out whatever blocks us from accessing that enlightened awareness that is your own essence, that is inside all of us. And the prayer really is that people find true fulfillment, true wholeness, that they can celebrate and live their lives fully. And so people have used it to clear all kinds of things, from everything from arthritis to cancer to brain tumors to sports injuries. They've used the journey to clear everything from parasites to the common cold, and getting access to the consciousness that's part of the co-creation of the illness. Now, I would love to be able to take you through the whole physical journey right here, right now. And what normally happens is you would come to a journey intensive, and we'd spend 2 days really diving in deeply together. And as a matter of fact, if you're feeling called to do the work, I would recommend, wherever you are, that if you can get to a journey intensive here in Europe, in Australia, in the States, in Africa, wherever you are, you get to it. And so that you can really get the in-depth teaching. And so it can be used as the reason it's called the journey is so that you can ongoingly clear whatever's holding you back in your life, physically, emotionally, cellularly, and go through a step-by-step process. It's very practical, very down-to-earth, that it can help you clear anything blocking you on any level, so that the body and the being can go about healing. You know, I was just in Holland a few weeks ago, and I was giving the Manifest Abundance Retreat, and there was this beautiful 28-year-old dancer. And she'd come to the journey 3 years before in a wheelchair, and she was injured. And she'd been told by the medical field there was nothing more they could do for her, that she would be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life, that she would never dance again. And she had a more fierce prayer and decided she wasn't going to take that as the truth, that she was going to investigate if perhaps she could undergo and participate in a healing process. And so she came there, and I have to say, she looked despairing at that time. She looked desolate. She looked like life had beat her down. Her great love was dance and sharing dance with people. Being a professional dancer, dancing 40 hours a week. And you can imagine being incapacitated when you have a passion like that. Here it is, she came to this abundance retreat 3 years later, and she'd done her physical journey and her emotional journeys, and put her on a path of journeying. And she cleared out the cell memories, the old consciousness, and at the Manifest Abundance Retreat, not only was she no longer in a wheelchair, she was dancing for us. And oh, how joyous and exquisite was that, teaching us to dance. And she's dancing 15 hours a week, and she can't dance 40 hours a week anymore, but 15 hours to let her passion live her life. And this is my prayer for all of us, that this that is our life's passion and our destiny and our calling, that it gets to live our life, and that we clear out anything that might obscure us on any level, so that we can live fully as an expression of our greatness of our true potential. So I promised you that I would take you into a meditation, and after the meditation that we might have a chance to just go on a little exploration and see if we can uncover some cell memories. So my prayer for you is that you'll feel inspired enough by this to recognize the potential, to heal any aspect of your life, and decide that you deserve to begin your journey, that you deserve to live fully as this highest expression of yourself, to do the work, to roll up your sleeves and dive in and do whatever it takes to experience the true freedom that is your own soul. You know, one of the things I do love, I love getting old, or older, I should say. For me at 57, I'm the freest I have ever been in my life. And I love my life. I do a journey process once a week when I'm on tour. I never want to be so arrogant as to think I've got it all handled. I want to constantly be a student of life, to clear out whatever obscures me so I can live and allow more and more of this essential potential, this greatness, this love, this freedom, this enlightened awareness that is all of our own soul's essence, to live my life, to dance my life, to celebrate my life. So, we're going to have this meditation, and if you would, just get comfortable wherever you're sitting, and just let your body just get relaxed, and just soften. And let's all take a nice deep breath in together. And letting it out. And closing your eyes. And taking another nice deep breath in. And really sighing out any tension. Another nice deep breath in. And really sighing out any stress. Just let everything fall away. And let's begin by just letting our body soften. You know, all of us carry so much unnecessary tension. And you know, the tension, it doesn't give us anything. It just causes tension. And so just take your awareness right now to your face. Just allow the muscles around the eyes to soften. The forehead to become smooth. Just release the jaw. Softening the corners around the mouth. Relaxing the roof of the mouth. Just give permission, just for this time, for your entire body just to relax now. And just relaxing and softening your throat. Very often when I soften my throat, I've been so successful at choking back the tears in my life. But often as I soften the throat, the unshed tears come. And so relaxing the back of your neck. Softening your shoulders, relaxing the arms. You know, all of us carry so much in the way of unnecessary responsibility. just for now, the tension and the burden of that responsibility. Go. As if it's just falling off your shoulders. And softening the chest. And opening the door to your own heart. You know, I've often been amazed that privately and secretly I've been so afraid in the past of exposing my heart lest I be hurt again. And so opening the door to your own heart. Have the intent of opening your heart, your being, your consciousness. And softening the solar plexus. Relaxing the area around the waistline, and the belly. So many secret memories and emotions have been stuffed away there in the belly. And right now, just give your belly permission just to flop. Just to become a jelly belly for a moment. And softening the sides of the hips. Pelvic region. Upper thighs. Middle of the thighs, knees. Legs. Feet. Very often, it's like we're surrounded by a wall where we defend ourselves against life. That we've got like this armor that we're encased in. And imagine opening the door of this imaginary armor as if you're saying to consciousness, I'm willing to be open to life. Opening the front door of that armor. And the back door. Side doors. And take the mask off. Letting the whole suit of pseudo-armor drop now to the ground. And be swept out of the room. And you're just left as open exposure to your own self. And allowing that self, that awareness, that presence that you are, to be open, expansive, vast, and free in front of you. And feeling how vast and open and spacious your own awareness is behind. spacious and vast and free it is to all sides. Boundless below. Infinite above. And just resting now. As if you're at the very bottom, in the fathomless depths. Of an ever-deepening ocean. Of stillness. And what if every thought were a signal to go deeper now? And what if every thought were like so many clouds in the sky, drifting by as you remain very bottom. Fathomless depths. Ocean. Ever deepening. Stillness. Just resting, steeping, soaking in this ocean as this ocean. So that the eyes open or eyes closed. Same presence. And allowing the awareness to remain vast, spacious, free and endless in front. Allowing it to remain infinite and open behind. And another nice deep breath in. One more nice deep breath in. Letting it out. Resting. Soaking. Steeping in this presence. This ocean. One more nice deep breath in. Letting it out. And when the eyes are ready, we can open them into this awareness. So that eyes open or eyes closed. Same. Well, let's take a nice deep breath in. And letting it out. With your eyes open. And another nice deep breath in. And letting it out. And I think there's a way, really, that all of us, once we tap into the stillness, you may be aware that already in your life that there are cell memories that are actually influencing your daily life. And so what I wanted to recommend is we'll just do a little gentle exploration right now. This isn't the physical journey, because we'd have to go through a full teaching of that, or you would need to read the journey book and hopefully get together with someone else to really go through the in-depth journey. And yet this will give you a little tiny taste of what I mean, that you may not be aware, or you may be aware that these cell memories, they operate at a subterranean level, and they have an impulse that comes out. And they can sometimes act as silent saboteurs, just when we feel like our potential's coming out. And so, let's take another nice deep breath in. And letting it out. And once again, joining me, closing the eyes. And just once again, letting your awareness open and expand. Just become aware of what actually is, so that your own presence, your own essence is actually already vast, spacious and free in front. It's already boundless behind. Infinite to all sides. And now with the prayer, the intent that you're kind of willing to let life inform you, or your body inform you, your being inform you. I'd like you to imagine that you're going down a downward facing staircase, and it has 5 steps. And with every step you take, it's causing you to relax and open into your own essence, into your own soul. And stepping on step number 5, and then 4, feeling something opening and expanding. 3, falling in even deeper. 2, and at 1, we're just resting in this vast ocean, this light of allness, And as you're in this light, I'd like to ask you to imagine that in front of you there's an instrument panel, and on it is a dial. And it'll dial you, take you to a time period in your life, or perhaps to an actual cell memory that kind of may be influencing you right now at a subterranean level. And so the good news is you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is push a green button, and you'll see the dial go back to perhaps a time or a specific cell memory where you may get a sense or see a picture of, or a knowing of a certain memory that is right now influencing you in your everyday life. So pushing that green button, let it arrive at a certain age or at a certain memory. Then you can allow that memory, just stick it up onto a video screen. Or if you can't see the memory, just get a knowing of what it is. And put it onto a video screen. And now let it go blank, knowing that you can access this at another time. And if you're willing to be open, you'll notice that there may even have been more than one cell memory that's there, that you may not have been aware, but has somehow been infusing or impacting your daily life. And the truth is, we have thousands of these, where we've had a time period where we've stuffed our emotions down and our cell receptors got blocked, and then this emotion and this memory and consciousness got stored in the cell. And so putting out a prayer to your own body, to your own self, that you're willing, when the time is right, to go through the journey and really get to the root cause of why this memory is there. To really go through that in-depth process of releasing what's stored there, to go through that process of forgiveness, so that your body and your being can heal. So when the next cell generations of cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness. And if you're like me, then you'll find yourself getting healthier and healthier and healthier, more vibrant, more energized, no matter what your age. But somehow more of who you really are, your own essence, is available. And so allowing yourself to stay wide open and putting out a prayer that maybe tonight during the night some of these cell memories may come up in your awareness as you're sleeping, or tomorrow during the day. And that you have that intent that you'll do whatever it takes to participate in your own healing journey. And really uproot and clear out anything that might obscure you. A nice deep breath in. And letting it out. And another nice deep breath in. Sighing it out and going back up those 5 steps into the now. Step 1. Then 2, feeling relaxed and refreshed and actually kind of interested to find out where your journey is going to take you. 3, feeling kind of intrigued of what these old cell memories have to teach us. 4, and having that commitment inside yourself that you will do the journey. You will either get the book and read it and find friends, or get on the web and speak to journey practitioners, or best of all, if you can, get to a journey intensive somewhere so that you can really begin your journey in freedom. And 5, and you'll only be able to open your eyes as soon as all parts of you feel that you are ready to begin your journey now. And when all parts are fully integrated and are ready to begin your journey now, you will be able to open your eyes. Taking another nice deep breath in. 5. And we can open our eyes now when we are ready. And I have no idea, because I have no way of interacting with you on this particular kind of video here. Normally I would have been interested to hear the kind of cell memories that have come up and how it's been impacting your life, and we could have discussed the ways in which the journey is used for all kinds of issues, from things from addiction to abuse to issues of health issues, emotional issues of depression, shutdown, to issues of physical issues, everything from cancer to heart disease to eczema, asthma, allergies, common cold. That really, what I feel the journey is I don't believe Brennan Bayes made up the journey. I feel that grace, truth itself, wanted mankind to have the ability to co-participate in your own healing journey, to awaken to the full wholeness of who you really are, and to clear out whatever's been blocking you in your life. And so this really is your invitation. And I pray you'll take the invitation from your own heart, from the truth within you, and that you'll begin your healing journey. And so I hope this has been of value to you. I hope it's been a catalyst to you. If you've already been through the journey, I pray it will reignite your desire to continue the journey. And I look forward to seeing you along the route. I'll be giving seminars all over Europe this autumn. And then I'll be going to Australia after that. And I'll be giving journey intensives and advanced level seminars, because we have a full year-long practitioner program. And this is where professionals from all walks of life come together from around the world to go through 7 different courses to really not only heal all aspects of our life, but to undergo case studies so that we can serve others in awakening and healing. And so I pray you'll also use this video to get on our website. Find out where the events are happening. They're happening in the States. After Australia, I go to the States. But right now, there's Journey Intensives going on in the States. There's Journey Intensives going on in Africa. There's Journey Intensives going on all over Europe, with and without me. And so it's happening on all continents. And so get on www.thejourney.com. Find out how you can fully awaken to your true self and begin your journey in healing. And let your journey begin. That it's ignited a fire within you, that you deserve to live the greatness of who you are. And so I look forward to seeing you along the way. And until then, many blessings and namaste.